For the first day of March, it was a pretty nice day. The sky was severe clear and it was warm for the season. There wasn't much wind, though there was more than was forecast. Since it was supposed to rain again next weekend, I really wanted to fly today. I was able to start the engine about 2 and take off about 2:15. I was debating bypassing the whole run-up area Alpha 1 mess by taxiing across 1-6 and going down Bravo. I didn't do that because when I looked down Alpha, there was no one down there at that end at all. I should have known that wouldn't last. The wind was from 290 at 7, so I wanted to turn as much into the wind as I could without blasting either the taxiway or the hangars on the other side of it. I was going to use the south end of the run-up area, leaving the north end for anyone else that wanted to use it. As I made the turn, I saw two 172s heading down also.
Arlington Municipal Airport. Automated weather observation. 2210 Zulu. Wind 270 at 09er. Visibility 10. Sky condition clear. Temperature 12 Celsius. Dew point 06 Celsius. Altimeter 3003. Arlington Municipal Airport.
I guess in this scenario, I was the butthead blocking the run-up area. Instead of using the area that I had left clear, they both wanted to go behind me. When I saw the first one past me, I moved up, leaving room at the north end for the other guy. He didn't want it either. He went behind the other 172 and didn't even get off the taxiway, just turned 90 degrees and blasted the taxiway and the hangars beyond. I guess I should have pulled all the way up to the north end of the south run-up area. Hey, I didn't know. Fortunately, my oil was already warm, so I didn't have to wait. As soon as I finished the checklist, I pulled out and made for the runway. I was surprised when I got to the airport that it wasn't very busy. I didn't think that would last, and it didn't. It wasn't bad, but there were several airplanes in the pattern when I went to leave. Rather than waiting, I crossed 3-4 just after the tow plane landed and departed on 29. Once I got set up on my outbound heading, there were only a few airplanes to dodge, and none of them too close. Since I flew over the Cascades the last time I flew, I thought I would go over the Olympics to get a look at them today. We might get some more snow in the higher peaks this week, but probably not much. What we see here is probably the most we will get for this winter. The winds aloft forecast called for fairly low winds up through 6,000 feet, but picking up above 9,000 feet. I like to go around Mount Olympus at about 8,500 feet, but that has you just above the peak, but it's not always possible when it's windy. As I neared Port Angeles and turned towards the mountains, I started to pick up some bumps. Since the wind was from the north-ish, I was surprised to be picking up bumps before I got to the mountains. As I got closer, they got a little more intense, so I kept climbing, aiming for at least 9,500 feet. After the turbulence I got at Glacier Peak a couple of weeks ago, I was a little gun-shy about this mountain. The wind appeared to be stronger than forecast, and I kept expecting to hit some pretty serious bumps, so I was more focused on having a good escape route when I did find them than on taking pictures, so all I got was what was in the video cameras. I approached the mountain cautiously, one might even say timidly, by turning parallel to it and going back and forth a few times until I deemed that it was safe to go right over the top and even a little bit on the south side. I made multiple passes from multiple directions, even going right over the center of the peak. As it turned out, I never did encounter any turbulence. It was a nice and smooth flight the whole way.
Arlington Municipal Airport. Automated weather observation. 2340 Zulu. Wind 29er. 0 at 09er. Visibility 10. Sky condition clear. Temperature 12 Celsius. Dew point 06 Celsius. Altimeter 3003. Three, 4, 3, Zulu. Wind 270 at 09er.
Coming back into Arlington, there was a bit of traffic, but not too bad. There were a few airplanes shooting touch and goes, and on 3-4 no less. I was a little surprised by that since the wind had picked up a little and was now 290 to 270 in there at 9. Usually these days, if there's any wind at all, people want to use 29 for their crash and dashes. I was following a Cherokee who, fortunately, was on her last touch and go, at least here. I didn't get there in time to get in front of her, so I had to follow behind. Interestingly, she flew a very close downwind, but then waited a long time to turn base, and that's why I'm so far south when I turn base. I probably could have followed a little closer, but I don't like to cut it too close. I made a decent landing and found an opening at the gas pump, so all in all, a very nice day.